She opened her bedroom door and saw him, all black, masked, standing right there in the hallway, holding something she couldn't quite make out. Her vision was blurry. She'd been drinking. It was 4 in the morning, and the figure just walked past her, calm, like he belonged there. He moved toward the sliding glass door at the back of the house, and he was gone. She locked her door, sent a text to her roommates. "No one is answering. I'm really confused right now." No one answered, because 3 of them were already dead. The 4th was dying. This is the story of what happened at 1122 King Road. Moscow, Idaho is a small college town. Quiet, safe, the kind of place where students leave their doors unlocked. In 2022, the town hadn't seen a single murder in 7 years. That changed on November 13th. The house on King Road was a typical off-campus rental, 3 floors, 6 roommates. Most of them were University of Idaho students in their early 20s, just starting their lives. On the night of November 12th, it was a normal Saturday. Kaylee Goncalves and Madison Mogen, both 21 and best friends since the 6th grade, went out to a bar downtown. Xana Kernodle, 20, and her boyfriend Chapin, also 20, went to a party at his fraternity house. The other 2 roommates stayed in or came home separately. By 2 in the morning, everyone had made it back. Doors were closed, lights went off, the house settled. Then, sometime after 4 a.m., a white Hyundai Elantra pulled up near the property. The man who stepped out of that car was Bryan Kohberger, 28 years old, a PhD student in criminology at Washington State University, just 8 miles down the road. He was studying how criminals think. He entered the house through an unlocked sliding glass door on the ground floor. No forced entry, no alarm. He went straight to the 3rd floor. That's where Kaylee and Madison were sleeping. Same room. Same bed, best friends since childhood, inseparable to the very end. What happened next took less than 4 minutes. Investigators later ran timed simulations inside the house to confirm that. 4 minutes. 150 stab wounds across 4 people. Kaylee was stabbed 38 times. Her hands and arms were covered in defensive wounds. She fought. Madison was stabbed 28 times. Prosecutors believe both were asleep when the attack started and never had the chance to stand. Then Kohberger moved to the 2nd floor. Xana Kernodle may have heard the commotion above her. She may have gone to investigate because investigators believe she encountered Kohberger either on the stairs or near her room. She was stabbed 67 times. 67. She had blood on the soles of her feet. She tried to run. Her boyfriend, Chapin, was still in her bed, asleep. He was stabbed 17 times and likely never woke up. And through all of this, 2 other roommates were in the house. One of them, on the 1st floor, slept through the entire thing. The other, Dylan Mortensen, was on the 2nd floor. She woke up. She heard crying. She heard someone say, "It's okay, I'm here to help you." She opened her bedroom door, and that's when she saw him. A figure in all black, masked, walking through the hallway. She said he was holding something she initially thought was a vacuum, but that didn't make sense to her. Her vision was blurry. He walked right past her, out through the sliding glass door. She froze. She locked her door. She texted her roommates. No one answered. It would be nearly 8 more hours before anyone called 911. The call came in just before noon, after friends arrived at the house and found the bodies. Moscow had no idea what had just happened. The police had no suspect, no weapon, no motive. The entire college town locked its doors for the first time. Students left campus. Parents pulled their kids out of school. For 6 weeks, there was nothing. But behind the scenes, investigators were pulling threads that would eventually unravel Kohberger's entire double life. First, the knife sheath. A leather K-bar sheath was found on the bed next to Madison Mogen's body. It had a button snap, and on that snap, there was DNA. It didn't match anyone in the FBI's criminal database. So investigators did something unconventional. They uploaded the DNA profile to public genealogy websites, the same technique that caught the Golden State Killer. They found a familial match that eventually pointed toward Kohberger's family in Pennsylvania. Then came the car. A white Hyundai Elantra had been spotted on surveillance cameras near King Road around the time of the killings. Police asked the public for help identifying it. A campus officer at Washington State ran a search of vehicles matching that description and found one registered to a graduate student named Bryan Kohberger. Then, the phone. Cell tower records showed Kohberger's phone had connected to towers near the King Road house 23 times between July and November of that year. 23. Months before the murders, he was already circling. On the night of the killings, his phone went dark at 2:47 a.m. and came back online at 4:48, right in the window of the attack. On December 15th, Kohberger and his father were driving cross-country from Washington to Pennsylvania for the holidays. They were pulled over twice in Indiana within 9 minutes, once for speeding, once for following too closely. Officers let them go both times. Nobody knew yet. But by then, investigators had already started watching the family home in Pennsylvania. They collected trash that Kohberger had placed in a neighbor's garbage can. He'd been seen wearing surgical gloves while handling it. The DNA from that trash matched the DNA on the knife sheath. On December 30th, at his parents' kitchen, Bryan Kohberger was arrested by an FBI tactical team. He was wearing latex gloves and separating garbage into Ziploc bags when they came through the door. When he was taken into custody, he asked just one question: was anyone else arrested? Kohberger was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. He initially maintained his innocence. For 2.5 years, he said nothing. Then, in July of 2025, just weeks before his trial was set to begin, he took a plea deal: life in prison, no parole, no appeal. In the courtroom, the judge asked him if he killed each victim. He said guilty 4 times. No hesitation, no emotion. His defense team later attributed his flat demeanor to autism spectrum disorder. Unsealed autopsy documents revealed the full scale of what he did: 150 combined stab wounds, wounds targeting the head, face, neck, and scalp. 3 of the 4 victims were attacked in their sleep and never stood up. And there was one more detail that surfaced after the plea: a selfie, taken the morning after the murders. Bryan Kohberger standing in front of a shower, giving a thumbs up. Kaylee's father called it what it was: a trophy. He is now in solitary confinement at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution, 23 hours a day in his cell, 1 hour of outdoor recreation. He requested a transfer after inmates allegedly threatened him. The request was denied. The murder weapon, a K-bar fixed-blade knife, has never been found. His motive has never been explained. Faculty at Washington State had met with Kohberger less than 2 weeks before the killings to discuss growing complaints about his behavior toward women. He was later fired from his teaching assistant position. And Dylan Mortensen, the roommate who saw him, who stood feet away from a man with a knife still wet with her friend's blood, now lives with panic attacks she describes as hitting her like a tsunami. She says her nervous system never got the message that it's over. Moscow, Idaho had gone 7 years without a single murder. Then, in 4 minutes, it had 4.